Hi fellas, starting episode 1 with something extraordinary, something so interesting, just to catch your attention. Aurunga crater. This is a list of all the most ancient and gigantic craters all around the globe. And here's what I found. Exactly 500,000 years ago, when the Sumerian text claimed that Anunnaki, gods, came from the sky 500,000 years ago in Central Sahara in Chad, Aurunga crater. So, you see this amazing coincidence. Exactly when the Sumerians wrote, gods came from the sky, something gigantic fell in Central Sahara in Chad. Sahara was green back in those days. The diameter of the crater of this strange object was 16 kilometers. But the best is yet to come. Scientists, geologists, after researching the ground of the so-called crater, supposedly of some meteorite, all the scientists agree about one thing. And I quote, "Uncertainty exists regarding the structure of the meteorite." And I'm translating for, normal. They don't have any idea what fell in Sahara. Once again, all the scientists in the world, they had representatives there researching in the so-called crater. They didn't find anything on ground. So, how can this be a crater from a meteorite? A crater from a meteorite? But there is no meteorite. There are no, any parts of any meteorite there. 16 kilometers impact zone. What I'm saying is, obviously Anunnaki came from the sky. And obviously they created something, because it wasn't a meteorite for sure that fell in Chad 500,000 years ago. Anunnaki created something extraordinary. They had maybe amazingly big ships. And Aurunga crater is not the crater, of course. It's not crater because it's not created by an impact from a meteorite. I suppose it's a landing area of a spaceship, or it's a huge city of these alien visitors, Anunnaki gods, which came from the sky. And Aurunga crater is not the only one. Check this out. This is the so-called Richat structure. It's not very far from Aurunga crater in Chad. This is located in Mauritania. And this is so big, and you can see the round walls. It consists of several round walls. Some very, very stupid geologists who really think that the masses, that we are very, very stupid, they said, this is a crater also. What? A crater? Dude, when a meteorite falls, it creates a hole in the ground, not several walls. So this is not a crater. And it's not formed by a meteorite, neither this is a natural formation. You can see the precision of the walls, several layers of gigantic city walls. Round, gigantic city. The most ancient hieroglyph for town in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs is with round form. Nobody knows why. All the ancient Egyptian cities along the Nile were rectangular. But the word, the hieroglyph for a city, for a town, is round. That's why. Because the roots of the ancient Egyptian civilizations were in Green Sahara tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of years ago. there were a mighty civilization with alien roots in Sahara building these extraordinary towns, and that's why the memory remained, and the ancient Egyptians, they were labeling the word town with a round symbol, although their cities were rectangular. It's amazing. It's amazing. Everything is pure facts. Richard structure, ancient round city, some say 1 million years ago. Anunnaki came, 500,000 years ago. Nobody knows who built this structure. There are really strange artifacts there. What do we know about Anunnaki? They came from the sky. The very word means those who came from the sky on earth. They had immense powers. They were choosing the fates of the humans, which means they upgraded the primitive man, Homo erectus, into Homo sapiens, and they taught them how to work, how to, crop, to raise crops, to work on the land, to farm, raise cattle and stuff, some crafts, preparing clothes and weapons and all this. And they say Anunnaki went into the underworld, just like they say about Osiris in Egypt, that he went into the underworld called Duat. Supposedly Anunnaki left the earth 263,000 BC, and these are the Sumerian king lists, and they went into some underworld. The so-called underworld was these tremendously ancient cities, where, according to the ancient Egyptians, all the people who pass away, they were going to their forefathers, to their ancestors, to the most ancient structures. This is the so-called underworld, the Duat. Anunnaki created global civilization. One another underworld was the Lemurian continent, who sank on the bottom of the ocean, hit by meteorite in 22,000 BC, called Abzu in ancient Sumerian texts. It's all there, it's all facts. The Anunnaki were especially interested in gold. That's why they created their subrace of Igigi and forced them to work in mines digging for gold. But the Igigi species, they rebelled. So the Anunnaki had to destroy the Igigi, and Igigi left the earth. Igigi went back to the extraterrestrial kingdoms of the Anunnaki, mentioned in many texts, and in their place, as workers, Anunnaki created the humans, because they wanted gold, They were very about power, control, money and gold. This very evil old DNA that we spoke about. And these are the royal texts of ancient Sumerians compared with those of ancient Egyptians. Both of them reveal one and the same picture. First, there were gods ruling the primeval kingdoms, the Anunnaki, from 500,000 BC to 263,000 BC. Then kings before the flood, up until 22,000 BC, when a meteorite hit Lemuria. This is according to Sumerian king lists. And Turin royal list, Egyptian royal list, claims the same. First, the gods ruled. God taught Jehuti ruled for 7,700 years. Then the followers of Horus, some demigods, ruled for 13,400 years. These were the times of these gigantic cities in northern Sahara, amazing civilization, maybe of Lemurian Atlantis also, and maybe even the pyramids of Egypt were built during those times. We will talk especially about the pyramids of Egypt in episode 2.